I'm about to spend the next 30 days using a Chromebook, and to get the best out of my experience, I'm going to go all in on the Google ecosystem. What could possibly go wrong?
Do I have to do it?
Yes.
These are the devices that I will be leaving behind for the next 30 days. We've got my 14-inch MacBook Pro, the iPhone 14 Pro, my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, as well as my Sony LinkBuds S, as well as my Apple Watch Series 7. This is what I gotta give up to embrace the Google lifestyle. Although thankfully I don't have to wear this shirt the whole time, because if I had to wear this shirt for 30 days, I'd be really grumpy.
First task here is going to be getting a new computer. I've got to find a Chromebook.
Did you just say the C word?
I said the C word. Using Google stuff is not new to me. I use a ton of Google stuff on a very regular basis. And I think on the phone side, I'm going to be fine. The thing to consider is I use a lot of Apple products, right? Not only do I use the iPhone and the Apple Watch, but also I use a Mac. And mostly that is for work. So my biggest fear is that Chrome OS is not going to let me do the work that I need. I rely every day on Thunderbolt accessories, which the Chromebook does not have. I use things like Final Cut, which is certainly not on the Chromebook. And I'm also dealing with moving around just massive video files and dealing with server stuff. I think I'll be able to find workarounds. I think I'll be okay, but I'm worried about that. My wife is gonna kill me when she finds out I don't have FaceTime anymore. All right, so I've made my decision. This is a $380 Lenovo Chromebook tablet. So this might not be terrible. I mean, it's an 11-inch Chromebook tablet. It's powered by a Snapdragon 7C Gen 2. It's not gonna be fast. It's also only got 4 gigs of RAM. But it does come with the full attachment. It's got not only the kickstand on the back, but it also does have the keyboard, the trackpad, and I've also got myself a pair of Pixel Buds. This should be my computing setup for a month. I don't see what could possibly go wrong. I've got 4 gigs of RAM.
How many more gigs do you need?
12. Yes, this Chromebook costs 1/10 the price, which is quite nice. And yes, it's small, but I'm gonna get really annoyed at the lack of performance that 4 gigs of RAM is gonna give me, especially with that tiny screen and the very small keyboard. I'm gonna regret my decisions. So let's take a look at the devices that I'm going to be using for the next month, starting with the brand new Pixel 7. Here's the thing. As much as I love the Z Flip, shh, don't tell anyone. I've daily pixels in between. Like, there've been times where I've cheated on the Z Flip. Every year I've cheated on the Z Flip with a Pixel for at least a little bit. Now, to be fair, I always go back, but going from Z Flip to Pixel, Android to Android phone is super easy. There are also advantages here. It's got better cameras, it's gonna have better battery life, it's going to have a non-flippy screen, which is easier just to kind of pull you out of your pocket. So I think I'll be okay without the Z Flip. I also have the Pixel Watch, which is going to be a little less easy to deal with. I use the Apple Watch so much. I use it for sleep tracking, I use it for workouts, I use it for notifications, and while the Pixel Watch is good, don't get me wrong, I just don't think it's gonna do them as well. My biggest concern with this whole challenge, hands down, is going to be spending time with the Chromebook. I actually really like Chrome OS, and I think that there's real advantages to using it, especially if you're a student or if you're at an enterprise where you need to manage a bunch of things. And realistically, I know that almost everything I do on a daily basis, I can do on a Chromebook. The problem might be more so with this particular one, because while it is very small and I am a huge fan of tiny things, this is very underpowered. Let's see what we got. I actually really like the way this hardware feels. And you've got dual side-firing speakers, so you got proper stereo. You've got what seems to be a very small webcam, but it's in the correct orientation, since no one's ever gonna wanna use the tablet like this. You do have a rear-facing camera, and it feels nice. I mean, it's got this sort of like nice soft touch finish. All like closed up, it actually feels nice. So it's like, it's plastic, but it's kind of got like a fake sort of like cloth texture. The fact that I've got 2 USB-Cs is nice. This is gonna sound weird. I'm actually kind of excited to spend time with the Chromebook. What? The thing is, I actually like using Chrome OS sometimes. I've used Chromebooks in the past. Now, this is gonna be the longest that I've completely committed to using one on a daily basis. But look, I have been making videos on tech for a long time, but it still excites me to try new things, right? And while I've used Chrome OS in the past, I haven't used it in a while. So I'm curious to see how a $380 Chromebook right off the shelf can perform when I just drop it into my normal day-to-day tasks. So first step is I'm going to attach the little kickstand thing. It's very stiff on the hinge, so I can easily, oh yeah, look at that.
Oh.
$380 of quality right here. Now we also have the This is an 11-inch display. Not an 11.6, an 11-inch display. I just realized it's not a full-size keyboard. Yeah, that's like a 95% size keyboard. Look at the backspace. Look how small the shift is.
Look how small all of these keys on the right are. What have I done? There was a $700 Chromebook that they had on. That's a lightning port. Okay, let's see this. This is emblematic of my life now. I'm trying to plug a lightning port. But on the flip side, I wanted to be true. The Pixel just...
Dude! It's gonna be broken before you even have a chance to use it.
Thankfully, I do have a pair of Pixel Buds Pro. The most important thing, do they pass the pocket test?
Ooh.
They do.
That's a tight fit.
A little tight, but it's fine. You know what they say about a tight fit? It fit. Day one, let's go, baby!
Google. All right, so I'm winding down day one with the Pixel, and so far, pretty good. I'll say the Pixel Watch has been less than spectacular, mostly because the original pairing process was super annoying, and having to log into the Fitbit account as well as the normal account has been annoying. But outside of that, things have been fairly smooth. So, wrapping up day one for my Google experience. So let's start out by talking about the Pixel 7. Now look, I've been a big fan of pretty much every Pixel that's come out since the first one, even back to the Nexus days, and the 7 is no exception. It's a much more refined version of the 6. The only real downside that I really have in my day-to-day life is on the video. So you're looking at video directly off the Pixel 7 right now, and it's fine and it's decent, but that's one of the biggest advantages, in my opinion, of the iPhone. And it is a huge reason why while I prefer the hardware of the Z Flip, still continue to also carry an iPhone at the same time. So I've been using a Z Flip as my main device for a few years now. However, the iPhone has stayed in my back pocket for one major reason. I can't always rely on Android. Now that might sound like a really weird thing to say, but I've run into a lot of scenarios where I need to say, post a sponsored story on Instagram, and I've had issues uploading it from the Android Instagram app. It works most of the time, but I've had issues where suddenly it comes out like looking potato quality or something. And you know what I don't have to worry about for my livelihood is relying on my iPhone to do the exact same thing. I also just finished up a workout with the Pixel Watch. The setup process is annoying. It's just not good. There's the Fitbit layer, there's the Google layer, you have to sync it all up. It's a bit of a pain. But once I got into the workout, the Fitbit stuff worked pretty well. I mean, the heart rate tracking, the kind of the zones and stuff, I actually like that more than the way that the Apple Watch does it. The Pixel Buds have actually been, they're kind of mid, I guess is my first impression. The noise canceling isn't great. Like, I actually was cycling between transparency and noise canceling, and I couldn't necessarily tell a massive difference. Not impressed with the buds. So I was in the middle of pairing my Pixel Buds to the Pixel Book, and I realized there's a little bit of a problem. Take a look at my Pixel Buds less than 24 hours in. Can you see how blue? Like my jeans have rubbed off so much. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
These are brand new. It's been put in this pocket maybe 3 or 4 times ever, and it is already looking massively blue. So as part of this challenge, I am only using Google products whenever I can, which means that I'm using YouTube Music instead of Spotify. For music, it's totally fine, but my favorite podcast, Dissect, just dropped the first episode of a new season on one of my favorite albums, and I can't listen to it.
I caved.
So it is day 4, and I'm doing a little bit of work on the server with the Chromebook. Now, this is clearly a bit of an issue because our servers are entirely run using either Windows or Macs. So mostly what I'm doing here is just keeping up with like spreadsheets and data management and stuff, which I can do on the Chromebook, but the actual like interfacing with the server has to be done on the Mac that's sitting here that's in the rack. One thing I found that has been a real learning curve is dealing with the trackpad. The trackpad is not horrible, and the keyboard is a little bit better than I thought, but the problem is that when it comes to using it for extended periods of time and dealing with like spreadsheets and that kind of stuff, it is so irritating. It's not a good trackpad. So I've gotten to carrying around my MX Master with me everywhere I go. I literally walked into the server room, brought the mouse because I knew I was not gonna want to sit here with the trackpad for that long. It is time to unwind and play some games on my Chromebook. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to use Game Pass, and I'm gonna pick up my Cyberpunk game that I was recently playing on Xbox. So let's see how this goes. Well, my Xbox controller isn't pairing particularly well. Time to play a cloud gaming service that I can use a mouse with. It was a pretty smooth day. Pixel was completely rock solid. I've had no real battery issues. Same thing actually goes with the Chromebook. I've actually been pretty happy with it. Now, mind you, the performance is not great. So I'm gonna sit down,
get some email done on the Chromebook, watch some Andor, and call it a night. But I actually don't think this is gonna be that hard of a challenge. Like, I'm actually starting to kind of see the light, although I miss some things.
So Ken,
Yeah.
I have had quite the journey so far. And
What you got on there?
don't worry about it. It's the Pixel Watch 2 made by Tim Cook.
Great. Are you having fun?
I actually kind of am. Like,
Really? Okay.
the thing is, I feel like I only have like one of these videos in me a year, right? Because, you know, I get settled in with, you know, my ecosystem and all my devices. And yeah, I'm sadly looking at my Z Flip on the counter, not being able to touch it for a month. But like, it is kind of fun for me to kind of like get out of my comfort zone and try a bunch of stuff. Because like, things like this Chromebook have been legitimately interesting to me in ways that I was not expecting. Last week, I purchased this Chromebook for $380 from Best Buy. It is now on sale for $299.
Okay.
On top of that, if you want to get a slightly older version of this, it's on Amazon for like 230 bucks.
I mean, this hardware feels nice. Actually, kind of feels like a proper folio. It has a nice texture to it. I love the color.
I'm gonna take advantage of the Google ecosystem.
Oh, can you unlock it with your phone?
Unlock my phone, and then
Ah, okay.
the main thing where this struggles is when you have multiple tabs and whatnot, 4 gigs of RAM is just not enough. Also, something I've realized, while this can run Android apps, I kind of don't run Android apps that often. So Spotify has a web app and also the Android app.
You didn't use Google Music?
But the Spotify Android app would literally, it was like skipping. It was not playing my music back smoothly. When you're on this Chromebook, if you can live inside the browser and not using apps, it's better. So I've used Slack in the browser, I use Spotify in the browser. The only things I do, and most of the other ones I have are apps, are just Chrome tabs that are just sort of penned in Windows. Single tasking is fine. Multitasking is where it gets a little sketchy.
So for grandma, it's fine.
No, for those who are patient and can
So
deal
grandma.
Yes.
So now I have something I don't want to do, which is to create a thumbnail using the Chromebook. So I'm here with my good buddy Mike, who's my co-host on the Backmarkers podcast. And because I gotta make the thumbnail, I gotta figure out how to use Canva. What is Canva? It's like, it looks like there's so much. Look, I can make a website, print a product, create a video, or I can play with Canva. What?
Just play with it.
I just play with it.
Just play with it.
When I fail, can you use Photoshop to make a good thumbnail?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks. The most attractive thumbnail.
Oh, it's a 404.
YouTube thumbnail templates. Okay, wow, these are actually good. Let's this template, let's go. All right, so I'm gonna specifically use Canva because this actually works inside the browser. Now, there are certainly Android apps that I could use. There's even things like Lightroom, which are sort of optimized, but based on my terrible experience running Android apps, I wanna stay inside Chrome as much as I can.
Ooh, I like the font. The font's great.
This is another kind of disaster. Actually, no, performance is not bad. There we go. There we go. Now I need a photo for the background. I'm gonna look up a royalty-free image of a Ferrari. I'm just gonna paste. Oh! Oh, you can go play graphics and stuff? This is actually not bad. Subscribe. There. Here's the thing, right? This actually is fine.
Canva's fine. You just don't know how to use it.
Or some disaster in 2 weeks. Okay, sure. How do I export this? I need to save this one just for my own personal use. That's a thumbnail right there that I made on Chromebook. 3 or 4 people will click that. I think that's a win. I'm feeling good about myself. Can you please Photoshop us a good thumbnail? So this is the first time that I have launched a video from my Chromebook, and it's working, right? So I've had problems when I've done challenges like this with an iPad because some things like uploading the captions for videos and some of the backend analytics stuff straight up will still not work on an iPad. And thankfully it is working on the Chromebook. The problem though is that 4 gigs of RAM. I am playing this stuff back right now. Do our own AI art generation. It's like dropping frames. It's like, you can tell that it doesn't have the bandwidth. It just can't handle this well. That being said, I am able to get this video live. It's a compromise. It's not a deal breaker, but this is probably the roughest thing I've done with the Chromebook, and it's not that demanding. Now, the astute among you may notice something different on my wrist. So I switched back to the Apple Watch.
I made it 5 days with the Pixel Watch. Stuff like, if you want to go to pick a workout, pick the Fitbit exercise app. Then it doesn't, unlike the Apple Watch.
Yeah, the Fitbit thing's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
They make you use it.
It's like stupid. So on the Apple Watch, if I'm gonna pick a workout, it shows me all the workouts I've most recently done. On the Fitbit, it gives me 1 or 2 workouts, and if it's not those, I have to scroll through like 30 different things to find the thing I'm gonna do. I'm like, why can't you remember I did this yesterday? The moment that I gave up on it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm at the gym, I'm like 30 minutes into a workout. I missed a very important call that it did not notify me on, that the Pixel had all the notifications on. I don't know what happened, maybe I didn't catch it or whatever, but that was the final straw. I literally went straight home, took the Pixel Watch off, went back to Apple Watch. I would rather use this on Wi-Fi and LTE than the Pixel Watch.
What's up?
Is this curved? Look, I'm gonna barely flex this a little bit.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
Look at it.
Okay. Stop. That is that.
21 days, Austin. You can't break it yet.
You made it worse.
I know! Look, I'm literally like one
Holy
finger,
shit.
one finger, watch, one finger.
No. Okay. You need to chill. Stop that.
I am, honestly, I'm flabbergasted. I have not done any durability testing. It's been fine, but it's literally curved and it's been in my bag for a week. Never mind, I said a lot of nice things about it. I didn't realize you could take one finger and almost snap it in half. Honestly, I'm rethinking almost everything I've said about this Chromebook throughout. As much as I've found like using Chrome OS interesting and this hardware to be mostly good, that might be the flimsiest bit of bending I've ever seen in my entire life, including like cheap Wish tablets and everything. I don't trust that this is gonna last the 30 days. I don't trust this is gonna last a year or multiple years in someone's backpack. I don't believe it.
But on the upside, Austin, you've always wanted a Z Flip replacement, right? Here you go.
Good luck on the rest of your 3 weeks. Don't sit on it.
Don't drop it. Don't look at it.
I was yeah.
All right, it is a Monday, which means that I have spent the last 3 hours on this beautiful webcam on my Chromebook. Yeah, today was not super smooth. I mean, to be fair, it's worked. But you can see, I mean, the auto exposure is just wildly all over the place, which is fairly indicative of, cheaper, lower end devices. But the other thing that I think was a little bit more of a problem was this thing was lagging on me as I was trying to be on a video call on one tab, pull up docs and other things. It was chugging pretty hard. More so when I tried to plug it into my monitor to have some extra screen real estate. That did not work. Not an amazing experience, which shouldn't be a surprise as my face keeps flickering. But I certainly had hoped for a little bit better. So I've got a little bit of a problem. So I've got
to commit tax fraud
a couple days, and I'm a little worried about actually relying on this on the day. I think it will work. I have USB-C, I can plug in my mic and everything else, but just seeing how it's been choppy makes me legitimately concerned to trust this for an actual real thing. It's one thing if I'm goofing around and it takes a bit, but I am recording something live for a sponsor. I can't exactly just lag out or have choppy audio or anything like that. I think it'll be okay, but it's really kind of making me second guess how much I can really trust the Chromebook, which is unfortunate because it's generally been fine so far. Yeah, not feeling super confident right now. It just literally will not open for me. Do you know what's going on? Do you know why I'm having this problem?
No, but you were supposed to be here about 5 minutes ago, and we really need you to start soon.
I'm trying to join right now, but the problem is that the link is just it's not functioning. It loads and then it shows nothing.
Okay, well...
Can you send me a new link? Can you send me an updated link that I can try? Because this one's just not working.
Yes, I can send you an updated link right now.
Okay.
Just try to get here as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. All right, see ya. I'm gonna throw this Chromebook out the window. So I'm trying to do something very important right now, and it is literally not working, and I'm gonna get grumpy. Now's not the time, okay? Now's not the time. I'm getting my MacBook. I apologize for getting just a little bit upset. I'm all down for a challenge. I'm all down to do something to learn about the experience. And I have learned a lot spending the last several weeks with this Chromebook. Almost none of my problems really have come down to Chrome OS. It really has been down to the hardware of this particular Chromebook. For basic use, it is totally acceptable. But I feel like I need a little bit more. The Snapdragon chip in here is a low-end processor. 4 gigs of RAM is not enough. And when you put that all together with the flaws of a fairly small tablet that bends when you start to flex it, there's certainly things I like about Chrome OS, and there's certainly things I've learned about really leaning into the Google ecosystem. But also, there have been some real shortcomings that have been made very clear to me. When you look at Apple, they have an absolutely impeccable ecosystem. Every single Apple product works well with other Apple products, right? And the more you get, the better it is. Sure, there's a little bit of a nefarious angle there where if you want to try to leave that ecosystem, suddenly half of your things don't work anymore. And I get that, that's a completely real trade-off. When I can use my Apple Watch to control my Apple TV, which is running an AirPlay video from my Mac as I'm streaming on my phone, like all these things when they work together so well, I kind of expected that going all Google would be a little bit more of a stronger value proposition, and it really isn't. Yeah, an Android phone and Chromebook do work together relatively well, you can unlock it and stuff, but generally speaking, nothing really talks to each other in the way that something like a series of Apple products would. And that's, I think, been the most disappointing element of this entire sort of video. So I don't think it's a surprise. I'm gonna go back to the way I was using devices before this. I'm gonna use my Apple Watch to check my blood pressure right now because I think it's still elevated after that.